Well, good evening. My name is Chris Pullis. I appreciate the opportunity to give this presentation on my research project for the need of recess in middle school. Um, and this is for ITL 694. The need for recess in middle school is very apparent. Having been a teacher for the last 20 years, I see um, the energy levels of our young middle schoolers being at a very, very high level after a certain time in school, and they need to get that recess in to calm down. But in my research and looking at different literature that is out there, they came down to three really big influences. So the purpose of the study is to examine how unstructured recess influences academic achievement, behavioral engagement, and emotional regulation. Now, we have to address a gap in the research because traditionally this need for recess for youth are usually aimed at the elementary school students and not the middle school students. The research provides evidence for the educators and the policymakers to hopefully fund the ability to hold recess and to give some time back to the schools so that they can have this recess time for the students. So this could affect at a not just a local but possibly a state and federal level. And the position that recess as it's a developmental necessity, and they need that time away from being in the classroom, being in front of the teacher, and having time to themselves to develop. So my central question, to what extent does unstructured recess time influence academic achievement among middle school students? Um, the research explores the relationship between free play and student focus and motivation, their classroom engagement, and their holistic development, not just educationally, but their socio emotional learning and basically just developing into young adults through their interactions with their peers. So the significance of the study for professional practices, it would influence classroom scheduling. They would have to, a school would have to redo the schedule so there is a time for this unstructured recess to take place. That means that lesson pacing would change because there would be less time in the classroom for all the subjects. And there's intervention as far as um, the individuals, the students having to have that free time, but still having to maintain their grades. So student support, physical, socio-emotional development, big reasons why they need this. And there would have to be guides and advocacy for equitable recess access. Funding is not always equal among the schools, and some schools don't get as much funding as others. And we would have to find a way of making it equitable so everybody would have the chance to have this unstructured recess. For the field of education, challenges assumptions about learning and the role of play. Some people say that play is not important, only the books, only the core subjects. No, we need to have that play because that play will help them develop, help their brains develop, and in turn make for better students. Um, these studies support evidence-based strategies linking academic success, like I said, to holistic growth. You have to have the mind and the body have to grow as one. And some of those policies, some of those growth that they're going to have during recess will bring about a lot of those benefits into the classroom. Um, so relevant literature that we had, I had about 25, 30 different ones. The more relevant ones for this discussion, Brandon and Atkins talking about the academic, behavioral, and social benefits. Brandon and Atkins, recess supports academic focus, behavioral regulation, and socio-emotional skills. You're going to hear socio-emotional skills all throughout this because it is so true that by interacting with their peers, they are going to develop how to have friendships. Um, there's going to be academic and social pressures that they're going to have to deal with. The students will have to, and the exercise and the developing, helping with their social emotional will help them get through those social pressures. And they also, again, talked about the equity concerns, making sure that it is equal across all schools, all children. Bolton talked about the cognitively engaging physical activities. It improves their executive function, the especially the inhibitory control. They have to look at their inhibitions. They need to look and push themselves to try new things. Movement and problem solving, promoting cognitive development, that that motor skill, those motor skills, just the basic running, jumping, kicking, throwing, and everything. Um, they'll have to find ways to overcome, something that they're short and not as gifted in, and they're going to have to problem solve and learn how to overcome those challenges. Um, Heiss and Fromil. Break times at third space. That is where they are going to develop those relationships. That's where they're going to develop again, socio-emotional, but their identity. Um, then also their autonomy. They have to be free to act on their own. They have to not just, you got to do it this way, this way, this way. They have to have that freedom. And then excessive control. They talk about how the excessive control inhibits the growth by saying you have to do soccer, you have to do soccer, you have to do soccer. And now we're going to do badminton, badminton, badminton. No, that free time lets them express a little bit of their free will and also their um, choice in things. It helps develop their independence that way. Pellegrini and Bone. Um, Recess fosters self-regulation. They will control. Um, they can learn how to control their emotions and their actions through that free play. And again, problem solving. Protecting daily recess ensures holistic development. By getting that into the school and keeping it on a regularly scheduled basis, these students can develop all these skills, but we have to make sure that it goes across the board. It has to go across the board. So the research approach, quantitative and qualitative. We're going to look at academic performance and behavioral engagement. The academic performance, as we'll see in a little while, is going to be pre and post. We're going to take a look at it before and take a look at it afterwards. We can have qualitative, what the student perceives. Let's look at their emotional regulation and motivation, see how they are acting in the classroom, observe how they're acting. Remember, this is not all about grades, it's about their development as a whole person. The participants would be approximately 60 students, grades 6 through 8. The class would represent very varied academic performances, not just our A students, not just the students that are really struggling, possibly failing, but all across the board. We want to see how it affects every student. We do this over a 6-week period. It would be 15 minutes of unstructured play each day with minimal teacher supervision. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to have teachers there. They have to, be there to supervise and to make sure that everybody's behaving properly. But the teachers aren't there to tell them what to play, to tell them what to do. Another way to get the motions when teachers are doing transitions, have them stand up, have them stretch during these transitions, or have them move from one seat to another when they transition and get some more movement into it. All of these, the objective is to promote cognitive reset, to have physical activity and social interactions, and they can practice their emotional regulation. Um, Collection analysis, academic, we're going to look at benchmarks pre and post. So you could take a math multiplication division time test, do it beforehand. After we're done with the study, have them do it again and see how they develop now that they have that little break during the day. We're going to look at behavioral. At my school, we have a room called Room 9 because it's in Room 9. It's the Office of Student Engagement. We can get a full report on the discipline logs of all of our 6th grade students. Then we do our 6-week study, and we'll be able to see the discipline logs afterwards. We will also see the referrals that went to the room, and we can also, the teachers, when they put in a report into the system, we can read those. Emotional and social, we can send out student surveys before and after, reflection journals, structured observations. Analysis, we compare those sample tests and look at how they match up question for question or type of question towards type of question. We can also go through surveys and journals and the observations, and we can sit and go through those, comb through those to find out how well this worked for them. Conducting the research is going to could be complex with getting approval through the schools. But if the school approves it, as far as pulling it off, it shouldn't be too difficult. We could work with our E&S department as far as equipment and everything. But getting the unstructured playtime for them, I think would be fairly easy. Quantitative and qualitative methods, bringing a holistic view into it, looking at academic, behavioral, and social emotional results. Observing student engagement, reinforce the importance of the student autonomy and the choice of play. Watch them, see how they develop from day one. They might just be kicking a ball around a little bit. Day 2, they might try and get a little game going. Day 10, they might be forming teams and actually playing games. See how they interact with one another. Challenges, time management, having the time to get out and do that. Observation consistency. We have to have the same people observing every day. That way we can see they'll be able to see the development throughout the entire time. And we would have to balance our structured instruction for all the other classes, along with our research needs. We need to be able to research and observe the children, but we also have to be able to teach them at the same time. And here are my references for my that I had in our literary work that was cited. All in all, I find this to be a positive and a doable research project. I would not mind doing this because I would love to see, I would love to get solid data to prove what I have observed over the years, that the less physical education, the less recess that they have, and the less free time they have, um, the more they act up in class. They want to take that free time during instruction, and that's not good. So thank you very much for allowing me to take your class. This is my last class, and I've enjoyed it. It's been challenging, and I want to thank you very much. So, with that being said, have a good evening.